Okay, so we're going to start this morning by saying happy birthday to Dr. Seuss. But we're also going to sing happy birthday to everybody who has a birthday.
Okay.
Raise your hand if you have a birthday.
It's my birthday.
Raise your hand if you have a birthday. Raise your hand if you have a birthday. Raise your hand. You have a birthday. Raise your hand. You do. I know you do. So sad if you don't. No birthday. Everybody has a birthday. Everybody's hand should be raised. Because everybody has a birthday. So today we're going to sing happy birthday to everybody who has a birthday. But we're not going to sing the usual happy birthday song. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. You know that song?
Yeah.
We're going to sing my favorite happy birthday song. It's by a good friend of mine named Tom Chapin. It goes like this. Happy birthday, we love you. Happy birthday, and may all your dreams come true. When you blow out the candles, one light stays aglow. It's the love light in your eyes wherever you go. Can we sing that?
Yeah.
Okay, ready? You still have a birthday? Excellent. Does anybody have a birthday today?
My brother.
Your brother has a birthday today? That's so awesome. Are you coming in? Come on. Come on. What are you waiting for Christmas? Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. I love your pajamas. Come in. Come in. Come on. Come sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Excellent. Hello there. Hello there. Wonderful, wonderful children. Come on in. We were just talking about birthdays. And today's Dr. Seuss's birthday. So we're going to sing this beautiful song for Dr. Seuss on his birthday. And for everybody who has a birthday anytime. Yes, ma'am. You have a birthday? Awesome. That's so great. It's really good to have a birthday. Here we go. Sing with me.
Happy birthday, we love you. Happy birthday, may all your dreams come true. When you blow out the candles, one light stays aglow. It's the love light in your eyes wherever you go. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. We love you. Happy birthday. May all your dreams come true. When you blow out the candles, one light stays aglow. It's the love light in your eyes. It's the love light in your eyes wherever you go. Okay, let's sing it one more time for everybody who has a birthday this year. Happy birthday, happy birthday, we love you. Happy birthday, may all your dreams come true. When you blow out the candles, one light stays aglow. It's the love light in your eyes wherever you go. When you blow out the candles, when you blow out the candles, one light stays aglow. It's the love light in your eyes wherever you go.
It's called Horton Hatches the Egg. Sighed Maisie, a lazy bird hatching an egg. I'm tired and I'm bored and I've got kinks in my legs from sitting here day after day. It's work. How I hate it. I'd much rather play. I'd take a vacation, fly off for a rest. If I could find someone to stay on my nest. If I could find someone, I'd fly away free. Then Horton the elephant passed by her tree. Hello, called the lazy bird, smiling her best. You've nothing to do, and I do need a rest. Would you like to sit on the egg in my nest?
The elephant laughed. Why, of all silly things, I haven't feathers and I haven't wings. Me on your egg. Why, that doesn't make sense. Your egg is so small, ma'am, and I'm so immense. Tut tut, answered Maisie. I know you're not small, but I'm sure you can do it. No trouble at all. Just sit on it softly. You're gentle and kind. Come, be a good fellow. I know you won't mind. I can, said the elephant. Please, begged the bird. I won't be gone long, sir. I give you my word. I'll hurry right back. Why, I'll never be missed. Very well, said the elephant. Since you insist, you want a vacation, go fly off and take it. I'll sit on your egg, and I'll try not to break it. I'll stay and be faithful. I mean what I say. Toodaloo, sang out Maisie, and fluttered away.
Wow.
The first thing to do, murmured Horton, let's see. The first thing to do is to prop up this tree and make it much stronger. That has to be done before I get on it. I must weigh a ton. Then carefully, tenderly, gently, he crept up the trunk to the nest where the little egg slept. Then Horton the elephant smiled. Well, no, that's that. And he sat, and he sat, and he sat, and he sat. And he sat all that day, and he kept the egg warm, and he sat all that night through a terrible storm. It poured, and it lightened, it thundered, it rumbled. This isn't much fun, the poor elephant grumbled. I wish she'd come back, 'cause I'm cold and I'm wet. I hope that Maisie bird doesn't forget. But Maisie, by this time, was far beyond reach, enjoying the sunshine way off in Palm Beach. And having such fun, such a wonderful rest, decided she'd never go back to her nest. So Horton kept sitting there day after day, and soon it was autumn. The leaves blew away. And then came the winter, the snow and the sleet, and icicles hung from his trunk and his feet. But Horton kept sitting and said with a sneeze, I'll stay on this egg and I will let it freeze. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful, 100%. So poor Horton sat there the whole winter through, and then came the springtime with troubles anew. His friends gathered round, and they shouted with glee, Hey, look, Horton the elephant's up in a tree. They taunted, they teased him, they yelled, How absurd! Oh, Horton the elephant? He thinks he's a bird. They laughed and they laughed, and they all ran away. And Horton was lonely. He wanted to play, but he sat on the egg and continued to say, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful, 100%.
Oh my God.
No matter what happens, this egg must be tended. But poor Horton's troubles were far, far from ended. For while Horton sat there so faithful, so kind, 3 hunters came sneaking up softly behind. He heard the men's footsteps. He turned with a start. 3 rifles were aiming right straight at his heart.
Well, maybe he died.
Did he run?
No.
He did not. Horton stayed on that nest. He held his head high, and he threw out his chest, and he looked at the hunters as much as to say, Shoot if you must, but I won't run away. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful, 100%.
Oh my God, did 100%?
But the men didn't shoot. Much to Horton's surprise, they dropped their 3 guns, and they stared with wide eyes. Look, they all shouted. Can such a thing be? An elephant sitting on top of a tree. It's strange. It's amazing. It's wonderful. New. Don't shoot him. We'll catch him. That's just what we'll do. Let's take him alive. He's terribly funny. We'll sell him back home to the circus for money. And the first thing he knew, they had built a big wagon with ropes on the front for the pullers to drag on. They dug up his tree and they put it inside, with Horton so sad that he practically cried. "We're off!" the men shouted, and off they all went, with Horton unhappy, 100%. Up out of the jungle, up into the sky, up over the mountains, 10,000 feet high, then down the mountain, and down to the sea went the cart with the elephant, egg, nest, and tree. Then out of the wagon and onto a ship out over the ocean, and oh, what a trip. Rolling and tossing and splashed with the spray. And Horton said day after day after day, "Oh, I meant what I said. And I said what I meant. But oh, am I seasick? 100%.
100%? Oh.
Does he look pretty seasick?
Yeah. We did.
After bobbing around for 2 weeks like a cork, they landed at last in the town of New York. "All ashore!" the men shouted, and down with a lurch went Horton the elephant, still on his perch. Tied onto a board that could just scarcely hold him. Bump! Horton landed, and then the men sold him.
Oh.
Sold to a circus, then week after week, they showed him to people at 10 cents a peek. They took him to Boston, to Kalamazoo, Chicago, Weehawken, and Washington too. To Dayton, Ohio, St. Paul, Minnesota, to Wichita, Kansas, to Drake, North Dakota. And everywhere thousands of folks flocked to see and laugh at the elephant up in a tree. Poor Horton grew sadder the farther he went, but he said as he sat in that hot, noisy tent, "I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful, 100%. What's wrong? Thank you. Of course. Then one day, the circus show happened to reach a town way down south, not so far from Palm Beach. And dawdling a long way up high in the sky, who of all people should chance to fly by but that old good-for-nothing bird runaway Maisie, still on vacation, and still just as lazy. And spying the flags in the tents just below, she sang out, "Oh, what fun! Why, I'll go to the show." And she swooped from the clouds to an open tent door. "Good gracious," gasped Maisie. "I've seen you before." Poor Horton looked up with his face white as chalk. He started to speak, but before he could talk, there rang out the noisiest, ear-splitting squeaks from the egg that he sat on for 51 weeks. A thumping, a bumping, a wild, alive scratching. "My egg!" shouted Horton. "My egg! Why, it's hatching." "But it's mine!" screamed the bird when she heard the egg crack. The work was all done. Now she wanted it back. "It's my egg!" she sputtered. "You stole it from me! Get off of my nest! Get out of my tree!" Did he steal the egg from her? No, he was right. She asked, right? Poor Horton backed down with a sad, heavy heart. But at that very instant, the egg burst apart, and out of the pieces of red and white shell from the egg that had sat on so long and so well, Horton the elephant saw something whiz. It had ears and a tail and a trunk, just like his. And the people came shouting, "Hey, what's all this about?" They looked and they stared with their eyes popping out. Then they cheered and they cheered and they cheered more and more. They had never seen anything like it before. My goodness. My gracious. They shouted, "Hey, my word. It's something brand new. It's an elephant bird." Yeah. And it should be. It should be. It should be like that. Because Horton was faithful. He sat and he sat. He meant what he said. And he said what he meant. And they sent him home happy. 100%. Do you like that story?
Yeah.
It's called, this is my friend Mr. Brown, and it's called Mr. Brown Can Move. Can you? That's what it's called. That's what it's called. Yes. I see you can all move very well. Mr. Brown Can Move, can you? Oh, the wonderful things Mr. Brown can do. He can go like a cow. He can go moo, moo. Mr. Brown can do it. How about you? I thought you said you were bringing me students. You brought me cows. Oh wait, they are students. They just sound like cows. He can go like a bee. Mr. Brown can bzzz. How about you? Can you go bzzz?
Ticklish.
He can go like a cork. Pop, pop. Pop, pop. He can go like horse feet. Clop, clop, clop. He can go eek, eek. Like a squeaky shoe. He can go like a rooster. Cock-a-doodle. He can go like an owl. Eek, eek. Eek, eek. Cock-a-doodle-doo. How about you? He can go like the rain. Dibble, dibble. Dibble, dop. Dibble, 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 dibble. Dop, dop, dop. I love trains. He can go like a train. Choo, 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 choo. Choo, 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 choo. Oh, the wonderful things Mr. Brown can do. Moo, moo. Buzz, buzz. Pop, pop, pop. Eek, eek. Ooh. Clap, clap, clap. Dibble, dibble. Dop, dop. Cockle-doo-doo. Mr. Brown can do it. How about you? Mr. Brown can whisper. Very soft. Very high. Like the soft, soft whisper of a butterfly. Maybe you can do too. I think you ought to try. Whisper, whisper. He can go like a horn. Blurp, blurp. Blurp, blurp. Like a big cat drinking. Slurp, slurp, slurp. All the wonderful things Mr. Brown can do. Blurp, blurp. Slurp, slurp. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Knock, knock, knock. He can even sizzle, sizzle. He can do that too. Like an egg in a frying pan. How about you? Mr. Brown is smart as they come. He can do a hippopotamus chewing gum. Rum, 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 rum. Have you ever seen a hippopotamus chewing gum? No. You have? Awesome. Excellent. I have. This is my favorite. Mr. Brown is so smart. He can even do this. He can even make a noise like a goldfish kiss. Oh, little guys don't say ew. I see when it becomes between pre-K and K. Boom, boom, boom. Mr. Brown is a wonder. Boom, boom, boom. Mr. Brown makes thunder. He makes lightning. Splat, splat, splat. And it's very, very, very hard to make a noise like that. All the wonderful things Mr. Brown can do. Moo, moo. Buzz, buzz. Pop, pop, pop. Eek, eek. Hoo, hoo. Clop, clop, clop. Dibble, dibble. Dop, dop. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Rum, 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 rum. What was that? The hippopotamus chewing gum. Right, very good. I love that one. Choo, choo. Boom, boom. Splat, splat. Tick, tick, tock. Sizzle, sizzle. Blurp, blurp. Knock, knock, knock. A slurp. And a whisper. And a fish kiss too. Oh, Mr. Brown can do it. How about you? How about one more time? Moo, moo. Buzz, buzz. Pop, pop, pop. Eek, eek. Ooh, ooh. Pop, pop, pop. Dibble, dibble. Dop, dop. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Rum, 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 rum. Choo, choo. Boom, boom. Splat, splat. Tick, tick, tock. Sizzle, sizzle. Blurp, blurp. Knock, knock, knock. A slurp. And a whisper. And a fish kiss too. Mr. Brown can do it. So can you. Do you like that story? That's a fun story. I want to read to you this story because this is one of my favorite, not only Dr. Seuss stories, but one of my favorite stories in the whole wide world because it's funny and it's silly, but it also has a really important meaning about taking care of our environment and taking care of the world we live in so that it'll be there for us. Yeah? So let's read the Lorax.
Don't spoil it. No spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers. So when in my class when we've so I read a book and we've read it already and so I'm like, oh I read that book. Oh, I love. We go like this, nice and quietly to show that we've read that book. Excellent. Okay, everybody ready? Okay, that was fun. Great singing, everybody. Such beautiful voices. Okay, here we go. The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. At the far end of town where the grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing, excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today, where the Lorax once stood just as long as it could, before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax? Why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere? From the far end of town where the grickle grass grows. The old Onceler still lives there. Ask him. He knows. You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock on his door. He stays in his lurkum on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum, cold under the roof. And he makes his own clothes out of muffed moof. And on special date midnights in August he peeks out of the shutters. And sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail and the shell of a great, great, great grandfather snail. Then he pulls up the pail, makes a most careful count to see if you paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole in his grovelous glove. Then he grunts, "I will call you by whisper of a phone. For the secrets I tell you are for your ears alone." Schlup. Down slups the whisperman phone to your ear, and the old Onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he had smallish bees up his nose. "Now I'll tell you," he says with his teeth sounding gray, "how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the Swami Swans rang out in space. One morning I came to this glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright-colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees, I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the rippleless pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. But those trees, those truffula trees, all my life I've been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. And in no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill, and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft, and I knitted a thneed. The instant I'd finished, I heard a gazump. I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I'd chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy. And he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. "Mister," he said with a sawdusty sneeze, "I'm the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees that have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, out the top of my lungs." He was very upset as he shouted and puffed. "What's that thing you've made out of my truffula tuft?" "Look, Lorax," I said, "there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed's to find something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. But it has other uses, yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers for bicycle seats." The Lorax said, "Sir, you're crazy with greed. There's no one on earth who'll buy that full thneed." But the very next minute, it proved he was wrong. For just at that minute, a chap came along, and he thought that the thneed I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. "You poor stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy." "I repeat," cried the Lorax, "I speak for the trees." "I'm busy," I told him. "Shut up, if you please." I rushed across the room, and in no time at all, built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called on my brothers and uncles and aunts, and I said, "Oh, listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast, take the road to North Nitch, turn left at Weehawken, sharp right at South Stitch." And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. were all knitting threads, just as busy as bees, to the sound of the chopping of the truffle of trees. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffle of trees in one smacker. We were making needs 4 times as fast as before. And that Lorax? He didn't show up anymore. But the next week, he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, "I'm the Lorax, speak for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots, who played in the shade in their barbaloot suits, and happily lived eating truffle fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffle fruit to go round. And my poor barbaloots are all getting the crummies, because they have gas, and no food in their tummies." They love living here, but I can't let them say. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. "Good luck, boys," he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt very sad as I watched them all go, but you know, hey, business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm, I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered the loads. Of the things I shipped out, I was shipping them forth, to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went on biggering, selling more needs, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again he came back and was fixing some pipes, while the old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. "I am the Lorax!" He coughed and he whiffed. He sneezed and he snubbled. He snargled, he sniffed. "Onceler!" he cried with a cruffleless croak. "Onceler! You're making such smuggless smoke, my swami swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in their throat." "And so," said the Lorax, "please, pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smogged up around here." "What's more," snapped the Lorax, his dander was up, "let me say a few words about Gluppity Glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop. It's making gluppity glup, making sloppity slop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you old Onceler man, you.
He throws it in the pond?
You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary, in search of some water that isn't so smeary. I hear things are just as bad up in Lake Erie." And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax, "Hey, now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap, yap, and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm biggering, and biggering, and biggering, and biggering. Turning more truffle trees into needs, which everyone needs." And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall. The very last truffle tree of them all.
He'll die.
No more trees, no more needs, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts, every one, all waved me goodbye, then jumped into my cars and drove away under the smoke, smuggered stars. Now all that was left neath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad backward glance as he lifted himself to the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with the one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago, but each day since this day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years when my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So, catch, calls the Onceler. He lets something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds. And truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula. Treat it with care. Give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest. Protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. Like that story?
Yeah.
It's a good story. It's kind of sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a lesson to be learned in that story?
Yeah.
What do you think it is? I love the way you raise your hand. What do you think the lesson you can learn from that story is?
To not be greedy.
To not be greedy, yes. Excellent. Yeah, what else?
To not cut down trees.
Yeah, not cut down the trees, yeah.
Maybe that's oxygen. Don't build a factory where animals live. It can cause animals.
Exactly. Don't take away the habitats of the animals because we need the animals. The song, I need help. Can I get some help from you to do the library song? I need somebody who's big and strong and ate their Wheaties this morning. Are you big and strong and ate your Wheaties this morning? Actually, come here. Stand up here.
I need to go to the restroom.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, my dictionary. You're just going to hold that, and every time you're going to hold it just like this, and every time you have the biggest part, every time it says, we're going to say hi to the dictionary, we're all going to wave at her, and you're going to hold the dictionary up. Okay, can you do that? Excellent, excellent. I need, well, Pooh Bear. I love my Pooh Bear. You want to be Pooh Bear? All right, come on, hurry. Hurry. Wait for Christmas. Hey, somebody. I'm tired. Let me see yawns, big yawns. Oh, that's perfect. Come here, born to be cool. Come on, hurry. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, Sleeping Beauty. Come here, Sleeping Beauty. Come here, Sleeping Beauty. Excellent, that's Sleeping Beauty.
Cinderella.
Now, when I was a little itsy bitsy teeny weeny tiny kitten, we read these books a lot. They're Madeline. Have you read these books, Madeline?
Yeah.
They're so much fun. It's about a little girl who lives in London. Sometimes she's in other places in Europe, and she gets in two straight lines. And her name is Madeline, and she's adorable. You want to be Madeline? Hurry! Come on. Here, you can be Madeline. Over there. Quick. Madeline. Oh, hi. How are you? Good to see you today. My friend. All right, right there. Count that. Come up here. As the song goes on, you're going to hear your name, and it comes up really quick. Whether you're Pooh or Madeline, or count that. You got to hold it up, show it to everybody. Okay. Now, this is the best one. I need somebody who has a really big nose. I always love that. I want somebody with a big nose, and everybody's, I got a big nose. You got a big nose? All right, come here. He's got a huge nose. Actually, everybody, his nose is the perfect size for his face. All right, come up here. Why do I need somebody with a big nose? Pinocchio, because when Pinocchio doesn't tell the truth, when he tells a lie, what happened? His nose gets big. So when you hear Pinocchio, you gotta go like this. Whoa, I got a big nose. Actually, your nose is perfect. Your nose is perfect. But stand over there. Excellent.
The other few that are
Now
nosy.
smile. I need smiles.
Do you want to come up? No, you're shy. Okay, big, beautiful smile. Come here. Hurry up, hurry up. The Cheshire Cat. Do you know what the story of the Cheshire Cat is from? What's it?
It's from the movie
Alice in Wonderland. Exactly. Smile. Oh, what a beautiful smile you have. The Cheshire Cat is just this big smile sitting up in the tree, smiling, smiling, smiling. And it's 7 dwarfs. It's 7 dwarfs. Okay, let's put our dwarves over there. Okay, go be a dwarf, go be a dwarf, go be a dwarf, go be a dwarf, yeah, go be a dwarf, go be a dwarf, yeah, go be a dwarf, yeah, go be a dwarf, go be a dwarf. Excellent, excellent. Okay. Okay. I only need 7. Let's check and see. Let's check and see. Yeah, move that chair, dwarf. You're a strong dwarf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Perfect. I'm 7 dwarfs. Did I count wrong? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 7, 7. Yeah. Cinderella. Cinderella, the belle of the ball. You want to come be my Cinderella? Come right over here. Cinderella, the belle of the ball. Excellent. And all right, hey dwarves, keep it down. Have we read the story Babar, the king of the jungle? Anyone know what kind of animal he is?
Yeah, lion.
No?
Lion's a person.
Yeah, it's an elephant. Who wants to be Babar the elephant? Come on up. Hurry, hurry. What are you waiting for? Christmas? Let's go. Move it, move it. When you hear Babar, you're going to go like this. You're going to play, I'm an elephant. Okay? Very good. Excellent. Teachers, I need you to pick one of the most curious kids in your class.
Me.
Frankie, stand up, Frankie.
All right, Frankie. Where are you? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, come here. We gotta hold on. We gotta try out for this part. Go like this. Can you do that? Perfect. Curious George. There you go. I just need one more character. I need one more character. Hi. How are you? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. Mother Goose.
Mother Goose.
Okay, excellent. So as you're, it's gonna come up quick. Every time the dictionary comes up, you're gonna hold it up. You come up live. But everybody else, you're just gonna be really quick, and I'll try to help you get ready. Okay, here we go. Saturday morning, the rain is pouring. You ready? Dad? Library song.
Saturday morning and the rain is pouring. Dad worked late last night, he's in there snoring. Same old stuff on TV, boring. So what if I can't go out and play? I know what I'll do today. I'm going down to the library, picking out a book, check it in, check it out. Gonna say hi to the dictionary, picking out a book, check it in, check it out. Now I like books and they like me, so when I go to the library, I sit down in my favorite chair and check to see who's there. Maybe one book, maybe two. Take me home, says Winnie the Pooh. And if we have to travel far, I'll bring my honey jar.
Nice job.
Oh, I'm going down to the library, picking out a book, check it in, check it out. Gonna say hi to the dictionary, picking out a book, check it in, check it out. Sleeping Beauty yawned and said, how come will I get out of bed? But Madeline says, let her nap, and jumps into my lap. The cat in the hat says, hey, I'll go. Don't take it, cries Pinocchio. Don't take that cat to your address, he always makes a mess. Oh, I'm going down to the library, picking out a book, check it in, check it out. Gonna say hi to the dictionary, picking out a book, check it in, check it out. Mrs. Parker's back behind the checkout desk today. The Cheshire Cat jumps on her head and says, let's play. But Mrs. P says, goodness, are you sure you want all these? Oh yes, we shout together. She says, shh, quiet, please. I'm going library, picking out a book, check it in, check it out. Gonna say hi to the dictionary, picking out a book, check it in, check it out.
7 dwarfs.
The 7 dwarfs begin to shout, say, take us with you, check us out. Then Cinderella gets her gown and Babar grabs his crown. And then Curious George swings from the shelf. Along comes Mother Goose herself. Out the door we danced and sang, the whole library rang. Oh, I'm going down to the library, picking out a book, check it in, check it out. Gonna say hi to the dictionary, picking out a book, check it in, check it out. I'm going down to the library, shh, picking out a book, check it in, check it out.
Woo! Nice job, everybody. That was great. Everybody in the audience, everybody who came up here, fantastic. Mother Goose, you were perfect. Yes, come and sit down. Excellent. So in all the years I've been teaching, if I read a book, I've taught my students to go like this, if they've read that book before, instead of going, oh yeah, I love that book, I read it. And everybody says that, it kind of disturbs the class. So if you read this book before, just go like this. Oh, not too many, excellent, perfect. The Butter Battle book, it's hard to say. Okay. On the last day of summer, 10 hours before fall, my grandfather took me out to the wall. For a while he stood silent. Then finally he said, with a very sad shake of his very old head, as you know, on this side of the wall, we're Ukes. On the farther side of the wall live the Zooks. Then my grandfather said, it's high time that you knew of the terrible, horrible things that Zooks do. In every Zook house, and in every Zook town, every Zook eats his bread with the butter side down. But we Ukes, as you know, when we breakfast or sup, spread our bread, Grandpa said, with the butter side up. That's the right honest way, Grandpa gritted his teeth. So you can't trust the Zook who spreads bread underneath. Every Zook must be watched. He has kinks in his soul. That's why as a youth, I made watching my goal. Watching Zooks for the Zook watching Border Patrol. In those days, of course, the wall wasn't so high, and I could look any Zook square in the eye. If he dared to come close, I could give him a twitch with my tough, prickly snickberry switch. For a while that worked fine, all the Zooks stayed away, and our country was safe. Then one terrible day, a very rude Zook by the name of Van Itch snuck up and slingshotted my snickberry switch. With my broken off switch, with my head hung in shame, to the chief Ukaroo in great sorrow I came. But our leader just smiled, he said, hey, you're not to blame, and those Zooks will be sorry they started this game. We'll dress you right up in a fancier suit. We'll give you a fancier slingshot to shoot. And he ordered the boys in his back room to figure how to build me some sort of triple sling jigger. With the triple sling jigger, I sure felt much bigger. I marched to the wall with great vim and great vigor, right up to Van Itch with my hand on the trigger. I'll have no more nonsense, I said with a frown, from Zooks who eat bread with the butter side down. Van Itch looked quite sickly. He ran off quite quickly. I'm unhappy to say he came back the next day in a spiffy new suit with a big new machine. And he snarled as he said, looking frightfully mean, you may fling those hard rocks with your triple sling jigger, but I also now have my hand on a trigger. My wonderful weapon, the jigger rocks snatch 'em. We'll fling 'em right back just as quick as we catch 'em. We'll have no more nonsense. We'll have no more gup from you Ukes who eat bread with the butter side up. I have failed, sir, I sobbed as I made my report to the chief Ukaroo of the headquarters fort. He just laughed. Ha ha, you've done nothing at all of the sort.
Our slingshots had failed. That was old-fashioned stuff. Slingshots, dear boy, are not modern enough. All we need is some sort of newfangled kind of a gun. My boys in the back room have already begun to think up a walloping whiz-zinger one. My bright boys are thinking, they're on the right track. They'll think one up quick, and we'll send you right back. They thought of a great one. They certainly did. They thought up a gun called the Kickapoo Kid, which they loaded with powerful Pooadoop powder, and ants' eggs, and bees' legs, and dried fried clam chowder. And they carefully trained a real smart dog named Daniel to serve as our country's first gun-toting spaniel. I love whenever I read that book and everyone's like, Daniel? Where's he? There's a Daniel in here, I know there is. Then Daniel, the Kickapoo Spaniel, and I marched back toward the wall with our heads held up high. While everyone cheered and their cheers filled the sky. Fight! Fight for the butter side up, do or die! Well, we didn't do, and we didn't quite die, but we sure did get worsted, poor Daniel and I. Van Itch was there too, and he said, the old pig, the boys in my back room invented this rig, called the 8-nozzled elephant-toted boom blitz. It shoots high-explosive sour cherry stone pits, and will put your dumb Kickapoo kid on the fritz. Poor Daniel and I, we were scared out of our wits. Once more by Van Itch, I was bested and beat. Once again I limped home from the wall in defeat. I dragged and I sagged and my spirits were low as I thought that they ever could go. When I heard a boom-bah and a diddly-dee-dill, and our butter-up band marched up over the hill. The chief Ukaroo had sent them to meet me, along with the right side up song girls to greet me. They sang, "Oh, be faithful, believe in thy butter," and they lifted my spirits right out of the gutter. My boy, smiled the chief Ukaroo, we've just voted and made you a general. You've been promoted. Your pretty new uniform's ready, get in it. The big war is coming. You're gonna begin it. And what's more this time, you're certain to win it. My boys in the back room have finally found how. Just wait till you see what they've puttered up now. In their great new machine, he'll fly over the wall and clobber the buttered down Zooks one and all. Those boys in the back room sure knew how to putter. They made me a thing called the Utterly Sputter. And I jumped aboard with my heart all aflutter and steered toward the land of the upside down butter. This machine was so modern, so frightfully new. No one knew quite exactly just what it would do. But it had several faucets that sprinkled blue goo, which somehow would sprinkle the Zooks as I flew, and gum up that upside-down butter they'd chew. I was racing pell-mell when I heard a voice yell, "If you sprinkle us Zooks, you'll get sprinkled as well." Van Itch had a sputter exactly like mine, and he yelled, "My blue gooer is working just fine." And I'm here to say that if Ukes can goo Zooks, you better forget it, because Zooks can goo Ukes. I flew right back home, and as you may have guessed, I was downright despondent, disturbed, and depressed. And I saw just as soon as I stepped back on land, so are all the girls of the Butter-Up Band. The chief drum majorette, Miss Yuki Ann Sue, said, "Well, that was a pretty sour flight that you flew, and the chief Ukaroo has been looking for you." I raced to his office. The place was a sight. "Have no fear," said the chief. "Everything is all right. My bright back room boys have been brighter than bright. They've thought up a gadget that's newer than new. It is filled with mysterious moo and can blow all those zooks clear to Salamagoo. They've invented the Bitsy Big Boy Bomberoo. You just run to the wall like a nice little man, drop this bomb on the zooks just as fast as you can. I have ordered all ukes to stay safe underground while the Bitsy Big Boy Bomberoo is around. As I raced for the wall with the bomb in my hand, I noticed that every last uke in our land was obeying our Chief Ukaroo's grim command. They were all bravely marching with banners aflutter down a hole for their country and right side up butter. That's when Grandfather found me. He grabbed me. He said, "You should be down in that hole, and you're up here instead. But perhaps this is all for the better somehow. You will see me make history right here and right now." Grandpa leapt up that wall with a globulous leap, and he cleared his hoarse throat with a bobulous beep. He screamed, "Here's the end of that terrible town, full of zooks who eat bread with the butter side down." And at that very instant, we heard the clup clup of feet on the wall. An old Van Itch clumped up. The boys in his back room had made him one too. In his fist was another Big Boy Bomberoo. "I'll blow you!" he yelled. "Into pork and wee beans. I'll butter side up ya to small smithereens." "Grandpa!" I shouted, "Be careful! Oh gee, who's gonna drop it? Will you? Or will he?" "Be patient," said Grandpa. "We'll see. We will see." Like that story?
No.
It's a little bit scary.
Wait, is that it?
That's it. That's it. We don't know what's going to happen, do we?